F1.
Yeah, we've got a lot of F1, which is old Betamax tapes with the digital, the video track used as a way to record digital audio. So you've got some PCM stuff, and they sound pretty good. They sound full when there aren't dropouts, and that's the problem. The Dead were doing PCM tapes from New Year's '82 until around '87 when they started recording with DATs. But overall, the PCM sound pretty good, but the dropouts are a problem. Luckily, for most shows that we have those, we have cassettes. So if we ever wanted to use a PCM tape as a commercial release show or back it up properly, we have the cassette to cover any cuts, any dropouts, where you're listening to music and literally there's 2 seconds gone that we're never going to recover from that tape, but we luckily have the cassette to fix it with. So we have the digital from the 80s on the PCM and the DATs from '87 to '95, and the first 3 years of DATs are really testy. Really, the '87 to '90 were maybe, there's right now probably a 10% fail rate, which we backed up most of those. The early '90s DATs, once digital audio tape got a little better by '91, '92, are a lot more robust, and we've never really found a problem beyond '91 with any of our DATs, but we haven't really done much with those tapes because it's not the era that we've been releasing so much music, so it's, you know, it's good that it's there, but it's not something we really tap that much. So we really haven't listened to a lot of it in a while. But the analog tape is the stuff we have the least concern about. The stuff that's 45 years old sounds fantastic. We've never once put up a tape and been worried about it, and nor have we ever encountered a problem ever. And that's because it's always been stored pretty well, and analog tape holds up. So we can go into production on something from 1972 without even thinking about putting up the tape before we go into production. We can start in on the production details on the accounting side, whatever it is, without even checking if we know it's fine, and it is, knock wood. But the digital stuff is a lot tested from '82 onward. So ideally we have the analog tape, and stuff sounds great and holds up well.
On the technical front, because the concerts are long, tape runs out. A lot of the quarter inches are run at 7.5.
Yeah, mostly 7.5 inches, which means each 7-inch tape is about 46 minutes of music. So every 46 minutes you have a cut in the Grateful Dead's master tapes, which can either be masked on either a preservation level or a commercial release level by cassette from the same show. Maybe they ran 2 tapes, which is very rare actually when they were just doing a 2-track. Or we can use a bit of a song from a different show on the same tour where the sound is pretty similar. We do that quite often. You know, we don't try and hide it. We don't necessarily raise attention to it, bring attention to it, but it's the reality. We were trying to present, on a commercial release level, a good listening experience. Certainly when we're backing things up for our couples, we don't manipulate things because that's the doctrine. We try to keep the history as it is, but on a commercial release, there's nothing wrong with it, I don't think, because you're trying to give people a good listening experience. And listening and then all of a sudden getting a tape, a cut right as the song is hitting this great part, you know, it's a lot better to fix it with 12 seconds from another show. We do it virtually all the time. Anything that came from an analog tape from the 70s, which is a lot, probably dozens and dozens of releases, I can pinpoint a few seconds here or there that might have come from another show or was fixed from the same show with a different tape, where you might not hear with headphones.
Now, when they were recording live multi-track, they knew they were using this for an album. I would assume 14-inch reels, overlapped machines.
No overlap.
No overlap.
No, they only ran one machine, and that's only largely in 1969 when they recorded their first ever live record with a 16-track. There were only 2 16-track machines in the world. They've literally been invented, and then that's part of the reason the band decided to record the album Live Dead is because they saw the possibility of a 16-track live recording, talking 57 tracks. 16 tracks was huge for the Dead at the time, and they didn't know what to do. They were so excited by 16-track, they recorded an album in late '68, early '69 called Oxomoxo, recorded on 8-track, or 8-inch, 1-inch tape 8-track. And then while they were recording, and they had the album in the can, 16-track was invented just down the road at Ampex. So they scrapped the original sessions, didn't use them at all, didn't even re-record them, didn't even reuse any of those tracks. They re-recorded everything on the 16-track to do Oxomoxo. We had so much fun. So that first one, they couldn't do overlap. There were only 2 machines, and Ampex would only let them have one to bring it out of the company. And then Europe 72 was too heavy and too expensive to lug 2 machines. So even on the Europe 72 tour, where they were running 14-inch reels that run about 92 minutes, you would still get some cuts. Unfortunately, There are a couple of shows that do have cuts, but luckily they were also running a 2-track, very good 2-track board recording it on 10-inch reels of 7.5 inch, so we can fix those in. Yeah.
So now moving on to what we were talking about earlier today, your roles as archivist. Your roles are many as well, not just as archivist. And one of the things is that we were talking about before is advocacy for, in the Grateful Dead's case, their legacy. In the case of Phish, their legacy as well, but also providing commercial releases. So now you're in the role of as record producer as well, and describe how you use these as a tool for not only monetary gain but your legacy.
Well, our uses vary depending on whether the band has been active or not. So it was. We had some archival releases that came while the band was still active. We had a live one is really the most, probably the best known and the best selling and the most famous one, and that was recorded in 1994, released in 1995, and that is really why we have that record to thank for the fact that the band realized they could run 4 and later 5 DA-88s or 78s